When we mindlessly nibble chips while we listen or ignore our bodies, our biggest blind spot becomes apparent. Do you not enjoy learning? When I get to spend the entire day learning about something that interests me, I'm in a flow state. I detested going to school as a kid because it interfered with my reading. I used to bring books into church under my songbook cover. Everything the adult world prioritized was considerably less interesting than what I wanted to nourish my head with. Many INFJs and INTJs, two introverted Myers-Briggs personality types, may probably sympathize. Introverted intuition, a learning function, is our primary cognitive function and the primary way we process information. Therefore, learning is something we do by default. You get the idea. We are able to mentally store a tremendous amount of data. Information would cause us problems if it had calories. Information might actually include calories. Extroverted sensing is our inferior function, or the mental process we employ the least frequently, if introverted intuition is our dominant cognitive function. The majority of top performers and athletes are SP personality types like the ESTP or ISFP because extroverted sensing is skilled at engaging with the body in such a way that it transforms into a well-honed machine. For instance, the GoPro films showing skateboarders barreling past automobiles and trucks as they go along mountain roads are probably SPs. INFJs like myself watch those videos in paralyzing fear until they become unbearable. Extroverted sensing encourages us to be physically present and actively interact with the outside environment. A major weakness for both INFJs and INTJs is extroverted sensing. The INFJ and INTJ's blind spot. Extroverted sensing is our blind spot as INTJs and INFJs. It appears for us as we read while mindlessly munching chips. Information does have calories in this instance. Because we have a propensity to disregard our body, it is usual for INTJs and INFJs to carry a little extra weight. A love-hate relationship with exercise is another example of the blind spot that both INFJs and INTJs have. Exercise makes us feel good because it grounds us in our bodies, but we frequently have trouble sticking to an exercise routine. We could always be doing something more intriguing. What's wrong with being addicted to learning, besides a bit more weight and a resistance to exercise? All the knowledge in the world won't help you if you don't put it to use. This brings me to another fascinating characteristic of INTJs and INFJs. Because we are introverts, we value learning more than doing. I am aware from personal experience that our ability to retain information is subject to a ceiling. Have you ever jumped right into a new topic like a starving person a buffet? Up until an exciting event, the rabbit hole keeps getting deeper. I start to notice that my ability to understand what I'm reading gets worn out. Nothing sticks after reading the same passage several times. I have a hard time getting my mind to focus again the next day, even after I finish the book and go to bed. Not simply kept, but also used as information. The transition of information from the domain of theoretical knowledge to the world of experience is what leads to mastery. Without some sort of application, learning is pointless because the outside world does not reflect our inner world. Therefore, if we don't subject the data to any external world modifications, we won't obtain the entire picture. We can go back down the rabbit hole once we figure out how to put the knowledge into practice, and perhaps even develop some muscle memory. Developing mastery through your extroverted functions. Do you ever feel as though you have only retained half of what you have learned? Have you ever doubted your memory or intelligence? You are smart and have a good memory, in my opinion, but in order to permanently store the information in your long-term memory, you must extrovert it. INFJs and INTJs may feel vulnerable when we share our inner worlds with the outside world. Thus, that doesn't come easy to us. Any form of negative criticism can make you feel rejected. Any rejection of our inner selves might make us feel rejected as a person. So keeping our inner gardens immaculate and unaltered feels safer. You must employ both of your extroverted functions, your extroverted inferior function and your extroverted judgment function, in order to extrovert your learning. Extroverted thinking is the extroverted judging function for INTJs. Start by considering which systems in your life could benefit from the knowledge you have gained. Relationships and people themselves are systems. Can you teach or share this knowledge with someone else? How well does the information reflect reality? How can you include it into the currently existing structures? The more you apply what you've discovered and discuss what works and doesn't, the more refined the knowledge will become. The more probable it is that you will remember it and feel comfortable using it. Use the information you've obtained to help INFJs connect with their judgment function. Extroverted feeling. Find ways to impart it to others and improve your understanding of the data. Are you reading it correctly? Are there any others who could use what you've learned? How may the data be applied to aid individuals in self-discovery? Something is more universal the more personal it is. It's conceivable that someone else will get something useful from what you've learned. Speaking new concepts aloud enables you to correctly arrange the knowledge and store it for later use. How do INTJs and INFJs handle data via extroverted sensing? The information in our heads can come together more easily by entering the body. Our minds require a rest. We cannot continue to bombard them with data and stats and expect them to continue to operate at the same level. You offer your mind a much-needed respite by engaging your body through exercise. However, that doesn't imply that your mind is idle. The brain is breaking the data down into digestible chunks and comparing it to the information you've already analyzed. We may forget information if we don't physically interact with it. For example, try going for a run or walk after studying anything. Rake leaves off of your lawn or practice yoga. As you interact with your body, start noticing the new connections you develop. As a life coach who works with clients seeking healing and transformation, I've noticed that if I engage in some physical activity following a session, I often receive new perspectives. Additionally, now is not the time to cram your head with additional knowledge. Therefore, refrain from wearing headphones and listening to lectures or podcasts. While working out, play some music or interact with your surroundings. The senses are a passion for your extroverted sense. If you withhold information, you will never become proficient. Even if our comfort zone is at home, INTJs and INFJs, like anyone else, tend to become depressed if they don't leave the house and interact with others. We have a tendency to withdraw from social interaction as we become more depressed. However, in order to be healthy and happy introverts, we also need to occasionally interact with the outside world. It might be time to change your mind if you believe that social interaction is society's way of making you feel inferior. Every task requires practice. You will become more adept at communicating your views the more you practice. No one is as critical of you as you are, I would bet. In conclusion, put your chosen field into practice if you are an INTJ or INFJ and want to be a master in it. If you keep the knowledge to yourself, you will never become proficient. To ascertain its veracity, it must be exposed to the outside world, other people, and structures. But before you can integrate the relevant details with the information you've previously acquired, you must exit your head and engage with your body. Another advantage of exercising. It brings you joy and provides you the drive and assurance you require to change the world the way I know you want to.